everyone, and welcome to Better Life Project TV, the place to be to make your awesome business and life happen. Today I am joined by a very, very special guest. She started off as a client a couple of years ago, and I'm very proud to say she's now a very, very good friend. I would like to welcome to the show Leanne Keane.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
How are you?
Great.
Awesome. One of the reasons why I'm so excited to have you on the show is because the journey that you've been on for the last at least 2 years that I've known you anyway has seen you completely transform your mind, your lifestyle, your body, your business, relationships, so many things. Tell me about how all of this got started.
I'm 30 years of age, married with 2 children. Dylan is almost 6. Ava was 4 in March.
Yeah.
During my early 20s, basically just through a cycle of bad habits, I put on a lot of weight. I wasn't overweight as a teenager, as a child, but through just bad habits, not wanting to cook, so I didn't. I gained a lot of weight, and at my heaviest I was just under 16 stone, which is I think 100 kilos or 100 point something kilos, something like that. When I had Dylan, I lost some weight through improving my lifestyle a small bit, not a whole lot, but a small bit. After he was born, put all the way back on because the habits went back to normal, so the weight went back up. Decided to have our second child, Ava, and I kind of said to myself, right, you're going to lose weight again, don't mess it up this time, this is your head start. So Ava was born in March, just gone 4 years ago, and lo and behold, I had lost weight, so I was 2 stone lighter after she was born, and I kind of went, this is your kickstart. So it was just kind of went from there, just one step at a time. What's the smallest thing I can do that's going to make a difference? And for me, it was literally just eat more regular, because I could wake up in the morning and not eat anything till 2 o'clock, and then I could go tomorrow and have breakfast, lunch and dinner all before 2 o'clock, and there was just no routine to it. So for me, it was just purely have breakfast, lunch and dinner, and that kind of got me going.
Okay. You're a personal trainer now, and you run group classes in Greystones. Was your personal journey what you went through with your own weight loss? Did that inspire you then to become a personal trainer? Yeah,
totally. As my progression went on, and I was losing weight, I was improving my lifestyle, I was getting fitter, and I learned how to lift weights and found it was something that I loved to do. So yeah, and I just fell in love with it. And I'd seen how far I'd come, and kind of said, God, maybe I could help someone else do this, and went and looked into becoming a personal trainer. And I did, and as soon as I started, I was just kind of, I felt, I'm going to be good at this. I've done this. I'm not just winging it off a textbook. I get what women are going through. And
I think that's one of your strengths as well. For anyone here who follows Leanne on Facebook, or if you don't follow her already, find her, Leanne Keane Coaching. The one thing that I always admire so much about you is not only the honesty, but your ability to communicate what you've gone through to help someone else. It's quite clear that you get it.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I had a post up a few weeks ago saying you'll never see me posting about golfing or gardening, because I know nothing about it. I'll only ever write about things I've gone through, things I've experienced, or anything I think is going to be of value to people. For me, there's a kind of a consistency, but then at the same time, I could go a few days where I wouldn't post on social media because I don't feel I have anything to say worthwhile, so I won't.
So tell me more about how you got started as a personal trainer as well. I have lost count of the amount of wonderful female clients I have who have a love for health and fitness and want to take that to the next level, but they can't. They're shit in a brick. How did you do it? Because you did your course only about 2 years
just
ago.
Over 2 years ago. I guess it was through starting to lose weight myself, build my fitness, and learned the basics of how to lift. Kind of gave me the confidence to go and do the course. I think I was lucky in the fact that I was where I was, because there was other people in the course that were very beginners in lifting, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter if you could squat the empty bar, if you could squat 132 kilos. It didn't matter. Everyone was at such different levels. And you see that there's just such a variety of people in there, male, female, really, really thin, really, really heavy, really fit, not so fit, really strong, not so strong. It's not judged on that. It's not saying like that. I think I was just so passionate about it. I just said, I just want to do it. When can I do it? How can I do it? How can I do it? And that just got me.
And then how did you set up the business side of things? How did you organise yourself so that you would be in a position to be able to start group classes? At one time, you were operating, between 8 and 12 classes a week? 12 and 15 classes a week? Taking on personal training clients as well, training yourself. How did you go from a student in a personal training course to that?
It was through Facebook and my story, basically.
Okay.
I was always quite honest and open about my successes and my struggles. I always posted about my journey, and I think people enjoyed watching what I was doing because they could see that I was genuine, that I obviously resonated with them. They kind of went, oh, that sounds like something I could do, or that sounds like something I'd like to do, or that sounds like something I used to feel. And they resonated, and people were saying to me before I even finished my course, let me know when you're qualified, let me know when your classes start. And it just went from there. And thankfully for me, it was word of mouth. It was, I have a friend wants to start, I have a friend wants to start, my mum wants to do PT. Is there any chance?
Because you do have a wonderful reputation within Greystones. I think you are known as an exceptional trainer within the area and outside as well. How did you then start to, or what steps did you need to take to make the business side of things more serious? I remember one conversation that we had, and it was almost as if 1 week people were just paying you cash in their hand, and then the next week you were doing direct debits every month. How did you do that?
It was back to when I started working with yourself. I mean, pay as you go was like, you leave your personal trainer course and you kind of stick an ad up or a post up on Facebook and go, £7, come and see what you think. And you have people coming for a few weeks and you think, oh, I'm actually good at this, but then you're kind of going, oh, but maybe am I good enough? Will they pay a monthly fee? Oh, but if I charge them monthly, it's going to work out dearer than the gym. And then you kind of have to say, well, it's not a gym membership. You're not giving them space to go and train themselves. You're training them. And it's very different. So it was, as I said, working with yourself and putting structures in place, and I suppose having the confidence to just go and do it.
What did you do specifically to deal with those demons where you were thinking or feeling, I'm not good enough, no one is going to take that step with me? How did you specifically deal with that? Did something happen to make you go, is there a moment, a light bulb moment?
I think when it comes to how my business progressed, how my strength progressed, how everything else, how my relationships progressed, it all stemmed from up here. And no matter what I did in all these different angles, none of them were going where they needed to go until I got it right up here. And I'd gotten to a bad place. I was a qualified personal trainer. I had a clientele. I was improving my own physical appearance, but it was never good enough. And I constantly was trying to get leaner, get stronger, get leaner, get stronger. I felt I was looking at other personal trainers on Facebook and going, oh, they look better than me, or they're stronger than me, and they have more clients than me. And again, it was coming to yourself and saying, yeah, I want to work with a BLP. Yeah, my life is great. And I didn't even realise that I had all these boundaries up in my head, that working with yourself broke them down and kind of made me see that. And I think it was something you said to me, and I specifically remember it was the first Wednesday of August last year. I remember it was the turning point. You said to me, you've lost 6.5 stone, you've done phenomenal, you've had this roller coaster journey, you've had so much success so quickly. And at that stage I was talking about doing the bikini competition, and not that they're a bad thing, they're a sport. If that's what you want to do, that's fine, but it wasn't what was right for me. And you were concerned for me and said, when are you just going to be? When is enough going to be enough? And I kind of went, oh, when I get to 18% body fat, or when I get to 16% body fat. But in the back of my head I knew that was never going to be good enough. And I kind of said, do you know what, Sarah, actually, do you know what, I'll take a break from tracking my macros. And that was just the turning point. And it was from there I realised you don't have to be 16% body fat, and you don't have to be squatting whatever, you just have to be, you have to sort it out up here.
And why is it so common that personal trainers and gym instructors, we do put a huge amount of pressure on ourselves to present the package. If you want to train with me, this has to look perfect. And we put a huge amount of pressure. We spend more time trying to develop our own physique than we do sometimes trying to support others' health. help them feel happier and healthier and more confident.
Yeah.
And it's tricky. What do you do to stay in a mindset where you will support your clients achieve their goals with the same intensity that you would have wanted to achieve yours?
I think it was working with the BLP and seeing that fitness doesn't necessarily have to be all about exercise. That it's a big picture. It was when I realised that it's not about body fat percentages and numbers on the bar. It's about the bigger picture. It's, well, are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating generally okay? How are your stress levels? And you might say to somebody, how's your stress levels? Oh, they're grand. But if you break it down, they don't even realise you're stressing about things.
Yeah.
And it's the bigger picture. Again, obviously, the relationship side, your relationship with your husband or your kids or your mother or your friend, are you giving them enough? I know I've spoke to you recently about the talks I've started to do with the transition year students. It's gone phenomenal. But one of the things I do on the whiteboard is what you did with me. It's the wheel with the 8 segments in it. And I get them to take out a piece of paper and say, put something in each of those 8 segments that's important in your life. So for me at the time, it might have been training, my business, my relationship with my kids, my family, my health. And you said to me, I think, mark each of them out of 10. And my training was getting 9 out of 10 and everything else was getting 1, 2 and 3. And when you see it like that, it makes you go, okay, something's got to change. I mean, it's black and white in front of you.
Yeah.
You might think you're not obsessing over the gym, but if you do it like that, you kind of see that there's a bigger picture and that all successes and all goals will only come when all of the pieces of the puzzle are right.
Yeah. I'm going to link a PDF to this exercise, the Wheel of Life, that Leanne spoke about. So if anyone wants to do it themselves, there's instructions and things like that. So just check the comments below. I'll now have to figure out how to do that. The public speaking.
Yeah.
Tell me about what that is about. Tell me about what you did, because I know there was, again, a couple of demons, a couple of limiting beliefs that you had around just getting up there in front of a group of people. So, because it kind of snowballed quite quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, it's gone really well and great plans coming this September as well. Since I qualified as a personal trainer 2 years ago, and I suppose when I'd reached that point in my journey, I kind of said, I want to help anyone that wants my help, but I really want to help teenagers because that's where it starts. For me, it was kind of 16, 17, 18, 19, when the bad habits start, when you get a bit of freedom. Alcohol, I mean, you just create these bad habits, but at that age, your metabolism is so high that you get away with it. But by the time your early 20s, your mid-20s comes in, the habits are established, and it's very hard to break them, and that's when you start realising.
I know. I feel the exact same way. When I first started as a life coach, I remember sitting down with one of my coaches, mentors at the time, saying, I want to be able to work with 15 and 16-year-olds because my journey in terms of body confidence and self-esteem started to get out of control when I was that age. And I think it's such a crucial point in our time, particularly as women, as young girls.
I think it's worse for them now than it was for us.
It has to be so much worse. If you just look at what the girls are wearing, what the girls are doing, the interaction, social media. So what steps did you take to get there? How did it come about?
I went on a weekend away with my husband and my 2 kids and my in-laws down to Cork for 2 nights, and it was a total mind clear, and I forgot about everything at home, and I kind of went, this is my chance, just do it. And I wanted to get the girls to do my classes, I wanted to get them into setting goals to scare them, you know, the whole goal thing. And I posted on our private group page and said, I want you to think about a goal that you've always wanted to do that scares you, and I want to help you achieve it. Here's mine. I'm going to put it up here and hold myself accountable. I said, I want to talk to teenagers. And they all went, yeah, that's a great idea. Why don't you do it? And I went, yeah. I'll organise that. But of course, one of them was a secondary school teacher, and she straight away mailed me and said, I would love you to come and talk to my students. And it's just
I think that is... Something like that happened with me recently. I spoke at the National Sales and Marketing Conference in RDS a while ago, and it was an email that I read looking for speakers, and I basically just put myself out there seeing what's going to happen. In the back of my mind, thinking, I'm a life coach, they're never going to get me to come in and talk because I don't know anything about sales and marketing. Like, this was the demon in my head. And it's incredible to see what happens when you actually put yourself out there. It's the whole law of attraction thing. But with the law of attraction, we do need to be careful because you can put the energy out there, but you also need to be able to take steps and actually take action.
It won't just come at you.
It won't just come flying back at you. You actually need to get up and do stuff. That's one of the problems I have with the law of attraction is, yes, put the energy out there, but then how are you going to follow up with it? So you went in and you've done at least 2 talks now, isn't
I
it?
think 4.
4.
My most recent was to 100
Oh my gosh.
transition students.
Okay.
It's going down really well. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at, talk to them about physical health, mental health as well. Again, it's something that I think is a major thing for them to talk about. I go through phases of depression. I have no problem whatsoever talking about it. I think it needs to be spoken about more. And just basically teaching them things that they can do to accept that it is what it is. You don't have to suffer in silence. Coping mechanisms, find out what yours are and use them. And just the strategies I've learned over.
What are the strategies that you use? Because mental health is a bit of it's a hot topic in Ireland, and I think we're talking about it a lot. But what are we doing to actually overcome our own personal demons? What are your strategies?
Training was my first one, as we know. I went out for leather on that one, but obviously you can't go to that all the time. Yoga is phenomenal for me, and I know you're a big fan.
Yay, yoga!
Someday. No, yoga is like, I'd probably put yoga above. I actually said that to my friend recently.
I'm sorry, put yoga above lifting weights?
Yeah, I said that to my friend recently.
We're gone, we're through.
I said if I had to choose, if I had to give up one, I'd give up lifting weights before I give up yoga. And I mean that hand on my heart. It's just one of those things.
I forgive you.
Someday you will turn out.
Maybe
you will. So for me, it's yoga, then training, fresh air. When I'm having a really low day, and I say to myself, "Come on, Leanne, get out for a walk, get some fresh air." The other side of me goes, "Nope, too much effort. Nope, don't want to. Nope, you'll walk too far. You'll be tired. You won't come back." So now what I do is I just say, "Hang a wash out."
Okay.
Just stand out in the back garden. You don't have to go for a 10-kilometer walk. Just get out the back garden.
Yeah.
Eating right, sleeping well.
Okay.
If I don't get my sleep, just
stay back. Yeah. Okay.
I'm a difficult person when I don't get my sleep. But I recognise all these things. As much as I recognise what I use, my coping mechanisms I recognise all the things that do affect my mood.
Which is really powerful as well, that you're able to identify your triggers.
Yeah.
How do you manage that then? Because sometimes we can't escape things. What do you do to help you manage that?
Well, lack of sleep, bad food. And I'm not saying don't eat chocolate. I eat chocolate. I eat chocolate all the time. But it's knowing how much to eat is the key. If I eat, 2 weeks ago I had 2 squares of dark chocolate with a cup of green tea. And an hour later, beautiful. But an hour, and I'd had a late nap that day, and an hour later it was like 8:30 or 9. I was like, I'm not going to be going to sleep for ages because I normally go to sleep half an hour or 10. And 9 o'clock, I was like, I'd love another 2 squares. And it totally messed with my head. I had a horrific nightmare. I didn't sleep well. I was like an antichrist the next day. I was like, the dark chocolate isn't really bad for you. It's known. Have it earlier in the day. And I'm not saying only have 2 squares. If you want to have the 4 squares, have them at 5 o'clock. And it's just recognising, whatever it may be. But it's just recognising and not going, I can never eat dark chocolate again, and beating yourself up over it. It's just recognising.
You've become very self-aware. A part of the journey I think that you've gone on in the last couple of years has enabled you or empowered you to grow in self-awareness. And I think when we're able to understand our triggers and manage them, when we know what makes us feel happy, what makes us feel sad, it's incredible how different our life can be, isn't it? Because you're taking ownership, you're taking responsibility for your own well-being instead of just leaving it in the hands of other people's circumstances and events the entire time. What's been the best thing that's happened in the last couple of years, professionally and or personally?
I think for me, it's when people come back to me and say, do you remember that post you put up 6 weeks ago? That brought a tear to my eye. Or, I had a lady for a PT session the other day and she said, I just want to be able to grab my foot behind me and stretch my quad, and she just couldn't. She didn't have the ability to do that. From standing. I'm sure you can. But we did some stretches, and she had said it numerous times during the session. At the end, we did some couch stretches, and she stood up and I said, "Try it," and she did it straight away. She tears in her eyes, I tears in my eyes. Just those little things. They're just
those little things. Doesn't matter what sort of coach you are in life, personal trainer, life coach, success coach, those little wins are incredible. And I've been a part of a couple of little wins before, and they're the ones that you always remember.
Yeah,
you never
100%.
forget them.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing for me, is recognising that it's the accumulation of the little things actually are the big things.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who is starting off in a similar journey as yours? So imagine a young mom who is just leaving a personal training course. She's feeling nervous, the demons are getting louder, the mean girl voice is screaming at her. Yeah. What advice would you give to her?
Be yourself, 100% be yourself. And that sounds very blasé, but it's the truth. Don't do what you think other people think you should do. Do what you think you should do. Whether it's right or wrong, it's not going to be too far wrong. So just do it and you'll learn from there. Yeah. It's like you want to get from A to B, well, you're going to go this way.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, and you're meant to go that way. You're meant to go that way. If you're worrying about what other people will think of you, if they think bad of you, they're not the important people. The important people won't think bad of you. Just do your best. Yeah. Ask questions. Like that has been, I think that's been kind of the foundation of everything I've achieved personally and in business. Is I'm not afraid to ask questions. If you're not sure, find someone that does know. Yeah. And just ask questions.
And what do you do if you're feeling? Because something that I battle with quite regularly is my pride. Yeah. I want to learn. I want to always be in a growth mindset and experience and create and innovate and learn from my mistakes and do things better than I did before. But every now and again, your pride gets in the way. Yeah. For me, I just have to learn to swallow it. Yeah. What do you do in those situations? Or is your pride even something that you?
No, it does. It does sometimes. Especially as a trainer, there's once or twice there's been things where I've kind of gone, I should probably know the answer to this, but I would like to check it with somebody else. And then previous to say last year, I would have worried, oh, they're going to think this of me. I should maybe I won't ask. Yeah. So what I found to do is find somebody that's like-minded and that wants to help people. Yeah. They're not going to think bad of you. Yeah. They're going to respect you more for actually having the guts to ask.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. So never not ask, or never not try. Ask. Yeah. Never let your pride or your ego stand in the way.
I guess it's knowing who.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And if you get a bad response, if you ask someone a question and they laugh or mock or give you a wrong answer, realise that has absolutely nothing to do with you. That's their issues. Yeah. It's really nothing to do with you. We're all here to learn, like even experts in the fields and whatever we're in, they ask questions. So, I mean, it's important.
Thank you so much for your time. If anyone out there is looking for more information on where you can find Leanne, the best place is Facebook. So Leanne Keane Coaching, and you will find information on the group classes that she runs in Greystones and a little bit of personal training, I think, as well. Yeah. So make sure that you go and follow her for daily doses of inspiration and information on how you can get fit, get happy, get healthy with Leanne. Thank you so much for your time, for coming on this show. And that's it for me, guys. Peace out.